So I got a recipe for chocolate crinkle cookies. Definitely looks yummy. Let's try it out. Do I learn it or burn it? 3/4 of a cup of cocoa. 1.5 cups granulated sugar. Sift. Maybe this would have been easier to sift in smaller batches. I haven't even gotten to sifting the flour yet, and I'm already exhausted. 1.5 cups of flour. 2 teaspoons baking powder. 1/4 teaspoon salt. And again, sift. Okay, the flour sifting a lot faster. 1/2 cup of oil. Recognize the oil is in a different bowl. 3 eggs. 1.5 teaspoons vanilla extract. It says to mix on low, just long enough to break the egg yolks, about 10 to 15 seconds. This is 15 seconds. It's not very mixed, but I'm following instructions. Keep mixer on low and pour in 1/3 of the ingredients and mix for 30 seconds to 1 minute. So I'm going to set a timer and let's see what happens. At this point, I don't want to blend by the mixer anymore. I want to blend by hand. It says to blend slowly, so I trust my hands rather than the blender. So I'm going to do this by hand. I'm going to put on some gloves and do this by hand. Okay, so in the end, I did not record the mixing because it just took too long because I had to add in stages, but it's extremely sticky. When I added the last bit of the dry, I did not think it was going to mix. This is an extremely tricky recipe. I don't know if I'll feel confident to do it again, but it's fun to try. Let's see what's going to happen with the next step. As a note, I do not think my mixer could have stood up to trying to mix this batter. It's extremely tacky and extremely stiff. I really had to do this by hand. Cover and refrigerate for 1 hour, preferably 4, or up to overnight. So I chilled my dough overnight. Let's see what the next step is. Oven to 350. You're going to need parchment paper and scissors for the next step. Line your cookie sheets with parchment paper. Get a shallow bowl and put about 1/2 cup of powdered sugar in it. Remember, you can always add more, so if you're not sure you're going to use all that sugar, you can put a little less. Now I'm going to use my medium-sized cookie scoop and scoop out a ball of this very, very hard dough. Next, I'm going to roll it into a ball and then dip it into the powdered sugar. Just coat it and then put it onto my cookie sheet. And I'm going to do that for every single cookie and put them about 2 inches apart. This batter has proved too much for my cookie scoop, so I'm going to move to a spoon. I'm finding it a lot easier to roll all of them into balls and then roll them into sugar. As a word of warning, once this dough starts to get to room temperature, it's extremely hard to roll into balls. So really roll all of them and then roll them in sugar. So this made 30. Let's go on to the next step. Bake cookies for 10 to 13 minutes. So I'm going to set a timer for 11 minutes. Okay, let's see if they're crinkly. Oh dear, I put them too close together, but they're definitely crinkly. Don't they look great? Let's put the next tray in. Putting this in for the same amount of time. But we're going to take those new cookies off the tray in 5 minutes. At the 5-minute mark, take your cookies and put them on the wire rack because you don't want them to keep cooking. Let's take a look at this batch. Okay, I spaced them out a little more and they look scrumptious. Setting a timer for 5 minutes, and I'm gonna try one of these cookies. Oh, so soft. The sugar on top adds a layer of sweetness that you just don't expect. The chocolate on the inside is nice and fudgy. It's almost like a brownie with an extra layer of sweetness. I recommend making these cookies if you're willing to put in the labor. They are very, very, very good.